You should have seen the way that you bloom. I think I saw your face in the moon. I promise I'll be with you as soon as I find a way up, yeah. 'Cause you're farther than a kiss on the phone. There's things about you I'll never know. I hope that one day we'll be in love when you're not far away. You really make me wanna fly.
Hi everyone, it's Lori from Bookishly Lori. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. So today is very exciting because since I filmed my booktube newbie tag, I have been planning on bringing you guys original book tags, and I had a little bit of trouble coming up with what my first one was going to be, but I figured I should go with something that I love, and I personally really love self-care, and to me self-care looks like a very relaxing night where I run a bath and drink a delicious drink like coffee or sometimes even wine and kick back in the bathtub with a book. To me, that is self-care. That is like the epitome of relaxation. So I wanted to create a book tag inspired by that. So here I have a book tag that kind of goes through all the steps to a perfect relaxing bath time with a book. So I hope you guys enjoy the questions. I did ask over on Twitter if anyone would be interested in being tagged in this, and a lot of people responded. So all of those awesome people are listed in the description box down below with links to their channel and their Twitter as well. So thank you guys so much for the response and being excited about this video. Let's hop right into the questions. The first question is Hot Water, a book where the characters are in danger. So for that, I picked a beautiful edition of one of my favorite books, Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. If you're not familiar with the plot of this book, the characters are definitely in danger because this is a heist book. And we have 6 very unique, awesome characters that we really get a deep dive into because this is an amazing character study. We definitely get to know a lot about each of the 6 characters, but these 6 characters band together kind of somewhat against their will. They kind of have to be convinced into this by our ringleader of all of this, Kaz Barker, and they all go on a heist. And this is part of Leigh Bardugo's Grishaverse, so the whole reason that they're going on this heist is because they want to recover a drug that is being used to weaponize Grisha, which is a special brand of human that have magical powers in this Grishaverse world. I did not read the original Grisha trilogy. I am planning to read it, but I absolutely, like everyone else on BookTube, love the Six of Crows duology, and these characters are definitely in some hot water, even though they literally go to an ice kingdom for this heist. But they're still in danger. So yeah, Six of Crows. The second question is Bubble Bath, a character too pure and soft for the world that they live in. For this one, I went with Charlie from Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. This is a graphic novel series about 2 boys who meet in high school. It's an all-boys grammar school in England, I think. Is that where they go? I don't understand how UK schools work. Like, what is grammar school? Anyway, so they meet in like high school. So they meet in high school and fall in love, and it's their cute little romance story. And it's all about acceptance and friendship and first love and all the cute stuff. And Charlie is just so soft and pure and sweet. He's the sweetest boy. Perfect cinnamon roll. Here's Charlie. He's great. And there's a reason why he is so soft and sensitive and kind, and it's trauma. So if you read Solitaire by Alice Oseman, you know a little bit more about Charlie's full story, but if you've only ever read Charlie in the graphic novels, you might not be as aware. It's kind of starting to bleed into that in volume 3, which is the current volume that's out. But yeah, if you've never read Charlie in Solitaire, whoo, baby, you don't know what's coming. It's pretty sad. But as far as this, I think the intention is just to keep this very cute and light and fluffy, and I could not adore it more. It is so sweet, and he is too pure for this world. Third question is Bath Bomb, a character that changed over the course of the story. So for that one, I went with Clay Coolidge from You'd Be Mine by Aaron Hahn. In this story, we follow Clay and Annie, and both of them are kind of new up-and-coming country music stars. Clay is kind of like the bigger celebrity, and he's inviting Annie to go on tour with him. And this is not a decision that he just made on his own. He was kind of voluntold by his record company that he needed to convince Annie to come with him on tour, because Annie is actually the daughter of previous country music legends in this story, and they passed away in a tragedy. And we learn more about Annie's parents as the story goes on, and we also learn about some things that Clay is dealing with, because Clay is kind of seen as the resident like bad boy country heartbreaker, and we definitely see that public persona of him, and we definitely see over the course of the story his true nature, and that fact that he doesn't want to be known by this kind of fake persona anymore, and that's not really who he truly is in his heart. So he definitely changes over the story, and I loved this book. It was a really sweet romance, and if you like anything relating to music and you like romances that are fluffy at the start but definitely have a deeper core and a deeper meaning to them, I highly recommend. This was really great. And the fourth question is Face Mask, a character that was not what they seemed. They were wearing a mask. And so for that one, I went with Laurent from the Captive Prince series. This is a series I haven't talked about yet on my channel, but I absolutely love it. It is a 3-book trilogy, and it's kind of controversial. I mean, it's not the lightest read. It definitely has some trigger warnings that need to be looked at before I would just jump into this. I jumped into this not knowing any of those trigger warnings, and I kind of wish that I had known some of the things that would have been brought up, because one of them is a trigger for me, so I just wish I had known before going in. So I recommend, if you haven't heard of it already, or if you're not aware of it already, I would look up the trigger warnings for this book. But regardless, I love this series. I think it handled everything well, and what we get in this story is it's really a tale of two princes, and one prince is Prince Laurent, and we also have Prince Damon. And Damon is actually portrayed by his brother, his half-brother, and sold to Laurent's kingdom as a slave, basically. And so a lot of people have a problem with that premise just based off of that. I definitely think if you go into this story with a negative opinion, you're going to see a lot of negative in this first book, because this first book is very, very heavy, and it hits you hard with kind of the messed up system of this world. Laurent is the prince of Vere, and Vere is a very kind of sick and twisted society to live in. I don't want to spoil it, but it's just not the greatest. Talk about a cruel prince. Like, y'all don't know nothing. If you haven't read this, you don't know a cruel prince. Laurent is horrible to Damon, and we don't know why. We're like so confused, like, why is he so horrible and so mean? But again, the answer is trauma. So as we learn more about Laurent, we see why he's reacting the way he is to Damon, why so much of this is kind of like bubbled below the surface for him, and we get to see why his character is the way that he is. I absolutely love Laurent. I love Nikais. Oh my gosh, I miss these characters so much. This is a great trilogy. But yeah, Laurent is not what he seems. He seems really mean and really spiteful and cruel, but at his heart, he's just a big softie. He needs to be protected. I love Laurent. Protect Laurent. Question Question number 5, Candle, a character that brings light and hope. For that, I want to talk about Miss Violet Baudelaire from the series of Unfortunate Events. This is one of my favorite series from when I was a kid. I love this series. This series is often what I credit got me into reading. As a kid, I loved this whole series. I loved all the characters, the 3 orphans, but Violet was really very special to me growing up and a huge role model to me because she's known as an inventor, and she is someone who's extremely determined and extremely strong-willed, and so she is someone who whenever there's a problem or a dangerous situation that her and her siblings have fallen into because of Count Olaf, she ties up her hair and figures a way for them to escape or to invent something to help them. And I just completely idolized her and respected her as a character for that. So she is definitely someone who brings light and hope into this story. And we just have 2 more questions. So number 6 is wine glass, drunken confession trope, or a character who has a lush lifestyle. So for this one, I immediately thought of a drunken confession from a recent read that I just finished, and it's Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren, and there is a drunken confession trope in this book. I love that trope. I think it's hilarious. I think it's so kind of cute and just cheesy and sweet, and that kind of wraps this book up in a whole. Hazel is a very quirky heroine. She's a teacher, not kindergarten teacher. She teaches 3rd grade. I can relate because I'm a teacher, and she is just very loud personality, bubbly, very quirky, and has a lot of weird things about her just because she has a very loud and carefree personality. She really doesn't care what anyone else thinks about her. It's not going to stop her from being herself. And we have Josh, who is more kind of conservative, wants to be seen as a normal bro, he's so he's kind of in awe of her. They meet in college, and later in life, after a few years have gone by, they meet again and form a friendship, and their whole joke is that because they're so different, they could never date, so they end up setting each other up on all these other dates and say, oh, well, yeah, all these other dates, and we're never gonna date. That would never happen. So it's a romance. I'm sure you can piece the pieces together of what actually happens, but it was super sweet, and I absolutely loved it. Last question is number 7, Reading in the Tub, a book that you could literally not put down, obviously, because if you put a book down in the bathtub, you get water on it. So for that one, I said Shout by Laurie Halse Anderson. Laurie Halse Anderson is the writer of some of my favorite books. Speak and Winter Girls is one of my absolute favorites of all time. And Shout is her kind of memoir-based story about the experiences in her childhood and her young adulthood that led her to write the stories that she does. Specifically, she was assaulted in college, and that really heavily inspired Speak. But she kind of talks about her childhood and growing up and how, as a writer, you put a lot of your experiences and your emotions into your writing in different forms. I can definitely relate to that being a writer. I know how much of myself I put into my stories. So it was very interesting to read her experiences and how those translated into her books. So I thought it was beautifully heartbreaking and captivating. I could not put it down. I think that goes for anything that's written by one of your favorite authors. So I hope you guys enjoyed those quick 7 questions. If you want to do this, tag yourself. Consider yourself tagged. I would love to see as many people do it as possible. Get creative with it. If you want to do an aesthetic little intro like me, I'd love to see your bath routine. If you have any Lush bath bombs right now, that'd be cute. If you interacted with this on Twitter and you wanted to be tagged, all of your links for your Twitter and your YouTube are already down below. Go check all those people out because they might be filming this and you might see it on their channel as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. Check out my channel if you're new here to see other content from me, and remember, enjoy the journey. Bye!
your face in the